Hi everyone, my name is Phyllis and I'm the owner of Mad Moody Quilting Fabrics. Today I'm going to show you how I do my circles when I applique. So here I'm going to show you this this applique, and I have the different circles that I've used it on ovals also. So you can do it on ovals, you can do it on circles, any size, to get the perfect look, okay? So I'm going to show you how we're going to get, oh, before I go to do that, I do have these in the store. They're packaged with 56 pieces. These circles that I'm working with are 1¼ inches from side to side. So from here to here, they're 1¼ inches, okay? And then the freezer paper. So I use two circles. One is freezer paper, one is a cardstock. I'll show you how they go together. I always use these products together. So this is the cardstock, and those go for 56 pieces for $5, and the freezer paper pieces is 56 pieces for $3. Okay, so those are in the store. You can find these sizes. I do have other sizes, but they're not as of at the moment available. I have to package them. So let's get started on the demo. So I have my good fabric. This is the fabric I've chosen to put in the middle of a flower, or maybe in the center of a tulip. Here, this is a tulip, so the circle, and these are full circles. I use this method for those flowers also. And we're going to take the freezer paper. You have a shiny side and a matte side. We're going to put the freezer paper down on the good side of the fabric, the right side, okay? So now we're going to get that down, and we are going to cut around. I use a slightly bigger seam allowance than most people do. I just like to stuff my circles a little bit. I just find that when I go in to quilt them with the wool batting inside, it looks a lot nicer. That's my personal opinion. I am using black gold needles, applique size 9, and I'm just going to use the thread. This is a black thread. Normally I will match the thread to the fabric, and I'll explain that in a minute, and I'll show you. So I put quilter's knot in the bottom, and then I start to baste it, and I work from the front side. Okay, so we're just gonna quickly baste around. I have one ready to go to be put down. So when we get to the other side, I get as tight to this knot as possible, and I'm going to show you how I gather this up. So you know how to baste. You baste along the edge of the edge, very close to the edge of your fabric, because we want to hide this thread, this basting thread inside. So now I'm going to show you, this one is ready to be gathered up. So I have basted to the edge. Again, I'm using a contrast color thread, so you could hopefully see that. So I basted it to my knot, okay, and I basted with tiny stitches all the way around. The tiny stitches is so you could gather it up a little tighter, and then we're going to gather this. So I put the cardstock, so you can see that here the difference. This is freezer paper, it's very flimsy. Cardstock is a little more thick, okay? So we will put that inside, on the wrong side, and I'm going to gather this up. Look how nice this gathers up. Okay. So now I've got this gathered up. Now you could hit this, secure your thread, and hit it with an iron at this point. I don't. Like I said, I do this in front of the TV, so I will just take it and go from there and slide my needle underneath and come out along the edge. And remember, I'm normally using the same color thread. So now I have this ready to go put on, and I'm just gonna pop this down. At this point, I take this freezer paper off because it just gets in the way. Okay, and I'll pop this down, and I will start appliquing, start appliquing it down. And I'm just going to do a couple of stitches. I have one ready to demo on this. I have one ready. So then you just go ahead and applique. This way you're not cutting your thread. If you match your thread for the basting, you can just plop it down ASAP and start stitching it down. And there we go. So I'm just going to leave that there, and we're going to show you now. I've done this one with a matching thread. I'm using a matching thread here. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm doing, yeah, a matching thread, and I've appliqued around, and then I've left a little hole here about the width of my finger, because there's two ways of getting this cardstock out. You could applique all the way around and then come in and cut from behind and pull it out. That is the easiest way. You will keep your circles even more perfectly circular. I don't really I don't cut from behind. I'm a machine quilter, so I want those layers there, because when I go in and stitch, that puffs that circle up a little bit more. It makes it look like they're stuffed. Okay, that's why I take slightly a larger seam allowance and everything. So I am going to go and take my tweezers. I have these long tweezers. I don't remember where I got them. I do not sell these. I can't get my hands on these. And I will go in and I'm going to pull, I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to fold this cardstock up. I'm going to fold it up. Now, if you want to use your cardstock again, I recommend that you cut from behind and gently pull it out. I just desecrate my cardstock circles. I can cut more easily for myself. So I will fold this up and somehow get it out. And there we go. It's out. Okay, now you have a bit of a mess here. I don't know if you can see that. You have a little bit of a mess here. So I'm going to take my fingers and I'm just going to gently manipulate it back into place. And then I'm going to probably play with. And this is where you need the basting stitches to be a tiny bit tighter, because, or smaller, because then you really get a nice. And if you do iron it down, and when you prep it and you give it a hit with an iron, then you will set that seam in there and you will get a much nicer curve. Now I like my applique flowers and stuff to look a little bit more organic, more natural looking. I do like perfection at the same time, so I kind of do a little bit of something. And then you just go in like I'm doing here, and you applique the opening closed. Now I'm just gonna, I think that's done. Yeah. And I'm just gonna turn it, get it on the back side, and I'm going to do a bit of a knot because I don't want this coming undone. Now I do the knot underneath the appliques that I just put down. I'm going to cut a small little bit, and then at this point I might hit it with an iron, or when I come and iron the whole block, I will iron down the circles. So there you go. So let's recap. I will take my fabric. I will iron a freezer paper to the right side. I will cut my seam allowance out. Then I will, then it's like this. I will take my thread, I match my thread to the fabric that I'm working on or with, and I will baste small little stitches on the outer edge, about 1/8 of an inch or so away from the raw edge of the fabric. And then I will take my cardstock, put it inside, pull the thread so it all gathers up. I will take that piece to wherever I want to applique it down, and I will plop it down and start appliquing it down. Okay, I leave an opening that is about the width of my finger, give or take. If you need a little bit more space, then yes, do it. If you want to cut from behind, you sew all the way out and then you cut and pull the cardstock out from behind. If you are like me and you don't really care if you have a perfect circle, then you can pull it out from the space, close it up, hit it with an iron when you're ready to, and Bob's your uncle, you've got these really nice circles. So I hope this is helpful, and I hope we are enjoying these small little demos. When I come up with any new ideas, I will try to demo some of the stuff and some of the way I do my appliques or my patchwork or my machine quilting. So have a good day. Happy quilting. Bye.